Jungkook finally revealed everything. Jimin's emotional reaction left fans stunned. Face screaming in fear fire in a Korean entertainment world that is always full of surprises and behind-the-scenes stories that never cease to arouse the public's curiosity. The moment when Jungkook finally opens up about all the things he has been hiding is arguably one of the most dramatic points in BTS' emotional journey this year. Armies around the world were shocked, stunned, and almost speechless when such an honest confession finally came out of the mouth of the Golden Mean, while Jimin gave a response that was not only emotional, but also jarring until it felt like a strong vibration that hit the hearts of millions of people. It all started on a night that seemed ordinary to fans, but in fact it harbored unexpected surprises. Jungkook had just finished a long series of rehearsals with the other members, but there was something in his face that made many people wonder. Since a few days earlier, there had been signs that Jungkook was thinking about something heavy. His smile seemed to decline, his movements a little slower, and his gaze often floated, as if thinking about something he couldn't let go of. Some of the staff even whispered that Jungkook had been seen sitting alone in a corner of the room several times, staring at his phone screen without typing anything, as if weighing something heavy. But no one really knew what he was really thinking. Until finally that night came, a moment that later became the initial spark of Jimin's emotional outburst, when Jungkook suddenly appeared in the internal media room where the members often perform live. The atmosphere instantly changed. The entire army watching in person couldn't believe that Jungkook had appeared at such an unexpected time. His slightly damp hair, the training suit he was still wearing, and his look that looked tired and full of courage made many people feel that something big was going to happen. Jungkook didn't start the broadcast with his usual cheerful opening lines. There were no long greetings or small jokes that he used to throw. Instead, he took a deep breath, looked at the camera as if he were staring at his millions of fans one by one, and then said in a heavy but firm voice, "I think it's time I didn't hide this anymore." That sentence alone is enough to make the comment column rumble. Tens of thousands of comments flowed in seconds. Everyone knew that whatever he was going to say next was no small thing. Some of the soldiers held their breath. Others wrote quick speculations. Is it about his future career? About intermember relationships? About the personal feelings that he has kept? Nobody knows. There is only a sense of tension that hangs so thick. Then Jungkook started telling stories. He admitted that over the past few months, he felt pressured by his own feelings. There were many things he wanted to talk about, but he always held back because he didn't want to burden anyone around him, including the members. But the peak of his confession, which made the live stream atmosphere change drastically, was when he mentioned Jimin's name. With a slightly trembling, but still clear voice, Jungkook said, "There's one person who always knows when I'm hiding something. Jimin Hyung. But that's exactly why I feel more and more I have to be honest. Because I don't want to disappoint him anymore." That sentence took many by surprise. Even before the broadcast was over, Jimin's name immediately shot up into trending on social media. Many felt that there was something very emotional behind Jungkook's line, something that even the fans didn't fully understand. Jungkook then went on to reveal that he and Jimin had a falling out over the past few weeks. Nothing big or dramatic, but enough to make an unprecedented small distance. Jimin understood Jungkook's change of attitude, but Jungkook continued to refuse to talk. He felt he didn't want to burden anyone, including the people he trusted the most, but in the end, he feels that harboring everything makes everything even more difficult. When Jungkook admitted that he had cried alone in the rehearsal room because he felt disappointed in himself, ARMY immediately exploded with an emotional reaction. Many wrote that they wanted to hug Jungkook. Many said they hoped the members would be okay, but what was most thrilling was when Jungkook said, "I'm so afraid Jimin Hyung misunderstood. I'm so afraid he feels I'm slipping away. I just didn't want to hurt her." The confession touched the most sensitive point in the close relationship of the two. And at that moment, something happened behind the scenes. A few minutes after Jungkook finished speaking, the door of the live room opened. Jimin is in. His face was clearly angry and emotional at the same time. The audience did not expect that Jimin was knocking on the door right at that moment, but when he entered with a quick step and a piercing look, everything became clear. He had heard everything. Jimin's reaction exploded in seconds. He didn't scream, but his tone was firm enough, broken enough, emotional enough to make anyone who heard him feel his heart tremble. He approached Jungkook, looked at him without blinking, and said in a voice that sounded like a mixture of anger and sadness, "Why didn't you talk to me sooner? Why do you have to bear that alone?" Jungkook looked surprised, but he didn't back down. He paused for a moment, then said, "I don't want to worry you." And at that moment, Jimin really looked touched and angry. He rubbed his face in frustration, as if trying to hold back the almost spilled emotions. "I'm more worried when you shy away from me, Jungkook. You always knew that." The speech made the atmosphere of the room change completely. No more invisible walls between the two. No more unspoken words. There are only two figures who look so human, honest, and fragile before each other. Some of the army who watched live admitted that they cried when they saw that moment. Jimin's reaction, which was so explosive, but born of deep affection and care, became one of the most emotional moments they have ever witnessed from BTS. Jungkook finally got up from his chair, approached Jimin, and for the first time in weeks, they stared at each other with nothing to hide. Jungkook raised his hand, as if hesitating to touch Jimin's shoulder, but Jimin actually pulled Jungkook into an embrace. The hug was not a quick hug, not a formal hug. It was the embrace of two people who had been understanding each other more than anyone, two people who had finally let go of all the weight they were holding on to. Behind the hug, the camera is still on. Fans watched as Jungkook closed his eyes, releasing a deep breath as if releasing all the pressure he had been storing. Jimin rubbed his back slowly, soothed, strengthened, and for the first time in a long time, the two looked completely honest with each other. When the broadcast finally closed, the fandom world was still shaken by the moment. Many have called it BTS's most emotional moment of the year. Many praised Jungkook's courage to finally reveal it all, and praised Jimin for his sincerity in responding. But what made the most impression was one thing: their relationship proved to be stronger than anything else. They are not just colleagues or ordinary friends. There is something deeper, more unspoken, that can only be seen in a moment like this, the moment when one opens his deepest wounds, and the other person unconditionally welcomes him. And now, after all that has happened, armies around the world are still waiting for the next step from both of them. But one thing is certain: that night, Jungkook and Jimin showed that honesty, while painful, always brings them back to one thing: unshakable togetherness. In the end, the night proved that openness and courage always have a way to reunite hearts that were separated by a small misunderstanding. Jungkook, with all the honesty he finally let go, showed how deep the sense of responsibility he had been carrying all this time. And Jimin, with his explosive temper for what it is, proves how strong a sense of care he has for someone he considers important beyond words. The fans may only be able to see from the screen, but the energy emanating from that moment transcends the boundaries of space and time. Something's changed, not just in the two of them, but also in the way ARMY views their bond. More mature, more honest, more human.